Just because you have opposite thumbs doesn't mean you're better parents than a seahorse. Animals can teach us many things: how to relax and not worry about anything, how to taste perfect when you grill properly, but perhaps the most important lesson we can learn from those around us is parenting. Animals are not stressed by breeding philosophies. They don't care about attachment styles or overprogramming. They only care about preparing their offspring as best they can to survive in the world, and they do it instinctively. Here are a dozen species of creatures that crawl, fly, and swim, each with their own evolutionary wisdom, to teach how to raise happy, healthy children. Stable, intimate nurturing during a baby's early years is critical to growing a focused, functional adult, a lesson we can learn from our evolutionary cousins, the orangutans. Orangutan babies spend their first 2 years of life completely attached to their mothers, depending on them for both food and transportation. After that, mom spends about 5 years teaching her son everything he needs to know about independent living, how to find food, make a nest for sleeping, and much more. As my heroine Hillary Clinton once wrote, "It takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a herd to raise an African elephant." These gentle giants live in a matriarchal society where social cohesion is essential for survival. Companion elephants support new mothers by lifting newborn calves, adjusting the pace of the herd so the newborns can keep up, and even helping with breastfeeding. Throughout their childhood, baby elephants learn important survival skills by observing and imitating both their mother and their mother's friends. You must feed your children nutritious food, so be like the flamingos of the Caribbean, the kings of nature and the queens of baby food. In the world of flamingos, both parents share the task of feeding their young. Mom and dad take turns gagging a nutritious, red, milk-like liquid from their digestive tract into their hungry fledglings' mouths until they are old enough to eat solid food. It probably does not like burping when ordered, so breast milk, formula, and baby food can be substituted for. Cheetah litters usually have between 2 and 6 cubs. During the first year and a half of her life, the cheetah mother spends most of her time moving the family from den to avoid predators and teaching her cubs to hunt together. When the juvenile cheetahs are ready to become independent, the cubs from a sibling group that hunts together without their mother for 6 months. You must foster that bond between brothers and sisters. Nile's crocodiles are notoriously deadly animals, but they use their sharp teeth and killer instincts to protect their families. Unlike most reptiles, which will leave their eggs and run away, Nile crocodiles, both males and females, are fiercely protective of their prospective offspring, killing anything foolish enough to threaten them. They even warm and protect newborn crocodiles in their mouths if necessary. I think most parents can relate to that. We should all find relationships as cooperative as that of the emperor penguin. They have perfected the art of dividing up the breeding work. After struggling to lay an egg, female emperor penguins leave it in the care of their mate, who sits and keeps it warm while the mother travels up to 50 miles to the ocean. It's no beach vacation, though. She's there to catch fish, then makes the long trek back to her little family to spit her catch into the hungry mouths of her offspring, knowing full well that she's not up to the difficult task of raising a baby bird, so they covertly lay their eggs in the nests of other, often smaller, and presumably dumber, birds. The egg hatches and the baby cuckoo kicks the other birds and eggs to death, like mother, like son/daughter. Now alone in the nest, the baby cuckoo gets all the food and attention from its foster parents until they eventually fly away. I'm sure they don't even bother to say thank you. Despite the ignorance of a certain U.S. senator, males can be pregnant too, in both the human and animal kingdoms. Mating and giving birth to seahorses, pipefish, and sea drakes are a combination of genres. After a fin-flapping mating dance, the female seahorse/pipefish/sea dragon lays her eggs in the male's special father's pouch and then swims away. The male fertilizes the eggs and carries them around for about 20 days, until it's time to give birth to hundreds of tiny seahorses. Note, don't do everything seahorse parents do. If one of their children stays too close to daddy after birth, the male seahorse will eat it. Gray wolves typically mate for life, with both parents dedicated to protecting and raising their pups. The same goes for the rest of the pack. Only the alpha pair has mating rights. Everyone else helps with the offspring of the king and queen. The alpha male and female have the roles you would expect. He hunts. She stays in the den with the pups. Young wolves travel with the pack for about a year and then stay and become pack members or go to college to study liberal arts. Many of us look at our mothers and think, how could she give so much for her children? Well, maybe she was a fan of the giant Pacific octopus, nature's most devoted parent. Female Pacific squid live up to 5 years, but mate only once, towards the end of their lives. After the male deposits the spermatophores in the sexy female's oviduct, he swims away to die within a few months. Mama Topus finds a hidden cave or crevice, often in a shipwreck, and lays up to 100,000 eggs. She then spends 6 to 10 months cleaning, protecting and caring for her precious eggs. He doesn't even come out of hiding to eat. Once starving, the mother octo blows all of her eggs out of the burrow and then swims to die alongside her young's entrails. Komodo dragons are the second worst animals on earth after bedbugs, so you should only use them as examples of how not to live your life. Don't bite or tear your prey's flesh while injecting venom. Don't dig up people's graves, and don't eat their corpses. When it comes to breeding, Komodo dragons are off to a good start. They can reproduce asexually and build safe nests to lay their eggs in, but once the eggs hatch it's all bad. Once hatched, the young Komodo dragons run as fast as they can towards a tree. If they rise fast enough, they are safe. The slow babies are eaten by their own mothers or other dragons. To protect themselves from their own kind, arboreal Komodo dragons wallow in feces to make themselves unsavory in. They stay in the trees for 4 years until they are strong and vicious enough to defend themselves. They then fall to earth and spend the remaining 25 years being terrible.